Okay, guys, welcome back to the channel. This is the Unique Trading Group, where strategy meets mindset and discipline turns into income. Truly, thanks for tuning in today. And if you're watching right now, you already know you're about to get some real value. Before we jump in, smash that like button. That's right, subscribe to the channel. Turn on those notifications so you'll never miss the moves before they happen. All right, listen, SPY is ripping. Absolutely ripping. Okay, NVIDIA sitting at the nuclear earnings catalyst, right? We just had NVIDIA earnings. Boom, there we go, right? All the way up to the max. NVIDIA is sitting right now currently at about 196. So we got that catalyst, right? Rookies got absolutely streamrolled by the rotation they never seen noticed. Listen, today, inside this episode 19 of the Halftime Show, we're going to be breaking down exactly why I saw this coming days before it hit, okay? Now, this is the Halftime Show, and today we're going to be covering one of the cleanest, most predictable, most explosive market rotations of the entire quarter. And while most traders panicked, we prepared. Why? Because the market didn't reverse, it rotated. Now we're going to break that down. Now, before we do, we're going to get into some recap. I'm going to show you guys right inside of the Unique Trading Group YouTube channel where we discuss what could happen, all right? Now, this is my SPY Insider Leak. See where smart money moves next. SPY, BTC, Ethereum, XRP. Now, I'll let you guys know before that the banks, they were not buying that much of SPY, right? But they were buying Bitcoin and Ethereum and possibly XRP. Remember, guys, when big money buys, they hit the bid, right? Because they will rather die than to pay higher prices. They want a pullback, okay? And so I knew the fuel for catalysts for big explosive moves is human behavior. And we wanted to trap in some rookies, the human psychology of the chart for those A+ setups. And I want to let you see exactly what I talked about on this video to prepare you at these levels, okay? Quickly, and we're going to get right back into the charts. The account will show you these strikes and expiration dates for certain tickers. You can go and see the flow and see how much money and open interest and volume is going towards these numbers. All right. Now we can get back to 660 and break these previous demand levels of 661 and 662. But if we break 660, 658 now is the next level to look for. Now don't ever chase. It could be a trap for price to retrace back towards the upside because people are chasing. But if it holds as a true supply where there's no demand, 658 is going to be a breakdown trigger. Momentum shifts bearish quickly here. Now, all right, listen. Now, you just seen that recap video while I informed you guys that right at that level, there could be some demand and some trap set, all right? And that's exactly what we got today, all right? Today is Wednesday. I did that video over the weekend to prepare you for the week. So it took about 2 or 3 days, but as you guys can see right in front of you, this is the SPY, all right? Now, let's check out the 5-minute time frame for you guys to see some of the action that we had today. All right, at the time of this recording, all right, SPY is at 668. All right, 668. Okay, and we got into the calls in the Discord. All right, so we're gonna hop over to the Discord. I'm gonna show you guys exactly how this works. All right, so today I put out a day trade alert. All right, I said let's buy 665 calls on SPY. This is around 3 p.m. all right, before the market closed. I informed the community as well as the Weebull community, all right, inside of my Discord as well. Small cup and handle on SPY, smaller time frame, all right. Second, all right, don't second guess your entry, all right. Got to define your entry, your exit, and your risk, okay. Now let them know that right around 3 p.m. okay. The accuracy of the group is getting that momentum and those callouts right away, all right? And so I give you commentary. SPY in and out. It will happen fast. Remember at 3 o'clock. 0 day this week or tomorrow's expiration. What can you afford, all right? Wait for a pullback on a smaller time frame, all right? Those were the instructions, okay? And I gave them a visual. At the time, SPY was at 661.34, and I informed them to take a call above the break of this line here, all right? We wanted to retrace the top of the VWAP band, all right? And that was towards 665. That was a setup right there. That is exactly what the setup was, okay? Now, not only that, okay? Not only that, but right before we got into the move, I gave out perfect call out, all right? I formed the group at 309, 9 minutes later, all right? I gave them a hunch, all right? I'm in at 288. That's how much I paid. My premium, I paid $288. My stop loss was at $265. So I was willing to risk about 20 something dollars, okay? My expiration date was November 12th, 2025, and the 665 calls as I instructed for the group 9 minutes ago. All right, my first take profit was $349, meaning my premium went up. So if I paid $288 and it went towards $349, that's about $60-70 in profit for each contract that I bought. All right, now not only did we hit these marks, but we did and some and after the market. And I gave out the take profits, I gave out the stops. Okay, I gave it to you plain and simple. At 317, we were in the money. Look at that. All right, cash money casino. All right, classic W shape right here in front of you. Okay, we played that, we entered in. All right, 12 minutes later, we're in profit. We started moving. All right, that's the power of patience, where strategy meets mindset and discipline turns into income. You guys got to understand that I'm teaching you how to master your emotions in trading while turning discipline into income. How do you do that? One of those ways is to predefine your entry, your exit, and your risk, and only take high probability setups. All right, and because we've seen these moves coming, there was no way for us not to see it. We seen these moves coming and we waited all the way until 1 hour in the market to catch the move that we wanted. Now, granted, I did some scalping today on SPY, of course. I made some profit, but I like the big moves, all right? Yes, cash money. Can you smell it? Yes, sir. All right. This was some of the commentary that I put out in the Webull community as well throughout the day. I'm texting commentary and insights from a seasoned trader. All right, 650 or 671 first. Patience is master. Got folks voting about 80 votes, right? Some folks are bearish. Some folks are bullish, right? And the 671 relief rally, I think that's what everybody had their mind on, right? The smart traders, right? Being a part of this groups mean that you get to be in trades that make sense, right? Right when they happen, momentum trades, swing trades, and scalps, all right? And that's what you have dealing with the unique trading group, all right? Even when the market broke out, I informed not to chase. Breakout pullback, SPY 2-minute time frame, the rally is not over, okay? Now, these are the things that I'm posting inside of the chat. Thank you guys for watching. I hope you understand the accuracy because we have fun here. Jackpot, right? SPY's at 667 now. Remember that our calls was at 665, all right? We started at 661. All right, $5-6 in the money. And right now, at the time of this recording, SPY's at 668. Not only did I give out a day trade inside of the Discord, but I also gave out a swing trade. I like 670 calls, SPY swing trade. Simple as that, all right? And what do you guys have right in front of you? SPY's at 668. So it's not going to really be hard to get a trade at 670, is it? Now, I want you guys to pay attention to something, all right? SPY didn't go up because the market suddenly just turned bullish. It went up because position hit maximum saturation. Everyone was loading up on puts. The put call ratio was sitting at extreme levels. Everyone was leaning bearish at the same time. This is a catalyst. If you can hear the sound of my voice, the intent. All right, this is how you make good money in positions for your confidence. When you want to make some good money and you want to be on the right side of the trade, go against the crowd. I've been teaching this for years, for months, right? Check out my videos and those links in the description and join a thriving community so I can show you the tricks that Wall Street plays so you guys will be able to mirror and copy some of the best A+ setups you've ever seen, all right? Because it's really about discipline and waiting for your setup. And one of these setups that I'm giving you is my edge. How to trap in rookies, right, who are making human mistakes as traders. That's the name of the game. All right. Now, listen, everyone was on one side. Now, if you check out this put call ratio, all right, this is a market eternal. OK, market eternals are something that gives me a future forward look before the moves happen on the stocks you trade. The put call ratio, a market eternal, right, for the equities. I seen that it was getting to an extreme, and now we are rejecting below our 21. Aha, remember 21 is one of my call triggers and my sell triggers, all right? My buy and my sell triggers. Above the 21 EMA, I would like to buy for price to go up above the gray line, right? And below it, we like to try to trade towards the downside. Now, this hasn't really went that much. You can't see it in that example. Well, maybe over here you can see better as it falls and we gap down, okay? These are just some of the extremes. And whenever SPY hits an extreme, the put call ratio hits an extreme, right? As it rises, more people are buying puts, but they're going to be in profit. and they're going to take their profit, and you're going to get that knee-jerk reaction down. So more people are going to be buying calls on the cheap, and it's going to be falling, and that's when I like to buy calls on the SPY. And I noticed this today, and so I simply informed the group, and we traded that momentum today. Today was a very beautiful day to trade. We got wild swings. All right, today was a test and retest day. If you're not familiar with a day type, there are only 3 day types in trading: a narrow range day, a test and retest day, and a trend day. And they all have a percentage of statistical error advantage where it happens a certain amount of time. All right, you can also check out that video inside of my YouTube playlist. All right, it's there for you guys. All right, now listen to me real close. This move that you see, 668, when everybody was bearish, right? You never chase. Rookies sell and short the bottom. We were already going to a demand level at extremes, and we knew that we had NVDA earnings. Wasn't really smart to buy puts at the bottom. Now, if you look closely at my screen as I move it over, if you notice, right here in price is where we bounced from and found a base. You see that because we're up now, right? But just right here was another area where we bounced from before, right here on October 25th. So it took how long? All the way to November 19th, almost a month, for SPY to retrace right back to where it started from, for us to possibly rally back towards 673. These are the levels you need to be looking for. We can revert towards the mean, 673, 684, and NVIDIA was the catalyst for us to do so. You see how you can trap in rookies at the wrong time? Go back and study my videos and understand what I'm trying to tell you. It's all going to correlate, all right? Now, what's next for SPY? What should we do next that NVIDIA earnings are here? Well, first you got to understand what's happening right now, right? So this move that was created was a rotational slingshot. It's a slingshot reversal. Dealers unwind hedges, right? They're hedging against their positions, hedging against their position, right? Short covering. When people get trapped, they are forced to buy. They got to get out of their positions. They have to get out of their positions, all right? Short squeeze. That's what a short squeeze is. When too much money is on the opposite side, the wrong side, and we trap them in with technical patterns, all right? We'll get into that in more details, all right? Liquidity pockets fill and SPY launches like a pressure valve popping. That's exactly what we predicted, exactly what played out. Put call ratio, SPY rotation. All right, now let's hop over to NVIDIA, because I know you guys want to know about NVIDIA, right? And what's next? Because now SPY is above, and you don't want to chase these moves. You want to wait for a pullback, right? A breakout pullback. Now, what is SPY trying to do? Trying to fill these thin zones in the volume profile. So we'll have some trouble at 673, little consolidation, right? But if we get past it, we're going to retest these highs to 685 and 684, possibly 690. Now, could this be a pullback, right? The big pullback we needed wasn't a big 20-30% pullback these past couple of days, for the past 3 weeks, right? Some choppiness we've been getting, right? Are the banks loading up? Could this be the bottom? We do not know. People who buy shares, dollar cost average, they buy it on discount. They see the market as a future forward thinking indicator. It always goes up, right? And so they're averaging in and they're building wealth that way. For the day traders, whether you have a small account or a big account, doesn't really work that way. If you have a small account, you want to try to maximize off of moves, keeping money inside your account, locking in profit to compound it. The way you do that is A plus and B plus setups, okay? One of those setups is a technical pattern called a W, double bottom, all right? You have two bases on the bottom here, okay? All right? These are the bears trying, right? Right at the bottom, the bears are trying to take it low, but they fail. They fail rotation, all right? Let them try once, let them try twice, right? 1 and 2, all right? Now I know where their stops are, okay? Now I know where their stops are. Their stops are right above the neckline, okay? And we want to use stops as fuel, okay? You want to use stops as fuel towards the upside if we're bullish, okay? That's what you got to understand, all right? Okay, now that we understand that, all right, look at the chart. The stops are right there, okay? Now let's squeeze up the chart a little bit, okay? Move it up, all right? Now, does it look so pretty? But you guys can see this clear W shape right here on the 5-minute time frame. We were trading the 5-minute time frame today, okay? That's our W shape, okay? This is our W shape, same as here, right? Where's the neckline? The neckline is right around here, 665. Now, how ironic is that, right? In the Discord, I called out 665 calls at 3 o'clock. We were in the money in less than 30 minutes, and now we're going to be in the money tomorrow when we wake up because we swung calls. You understand? And so what happened is that neckline got broke. It ironically acted as a magnet. We got into calls at 661 and it went to 665. It was a magnet. The neckline was a magnet and it got broke. Trapping in those stops, right? Using the stops of fuel towards the upside. And that's what you get, running those stops. So we could wake up to 673. We could wake up to 680. NVIDIA is popping right now, okay? So let's head over to NVIDIA. Thank you guys for watching. If you have been enjoying the commentary so far, smash that like button. Give me a thumbs up, will you? And hit that bell notification. That way you don't miss any of these valuable drops, all right? Pass it along to a friend. Now, right in front of you, we have NVIDIA. Check out this powerful move we have. Another slingshot reversal, all right? Breaking this market structure here. Taking out these, looking at 1, 2, 3, boom, we broke above it. Now we're at 196. Now with these earnings, what you're going to see is you're going to see a lot of people rushing and FOMOing. But what really was going on is while the market was dipping and the news was doing a bunch of fear mongering, there were some people who are buying. And right now what we saw is NVIDIA pull back. That's all it did, okay? NVIDIA pull back, and you've seen this move, right? Tech is cooling off, QQQ is fading, and instantly assumes that it's crashing, and they loaded up puts on the wrong side. That's the move you see today. So the professionals knew this wasn't a breakdown, it was a rotation one-on-one. Money flowed out of tech and into defensive cyclicals, industrials, and index itself. Rookies weren't watching the flow, they were watching candles. This is the subtle difference between professionals and rookies, okay? We can change your learning curve by predefining your risk and studying market rotations, right? You want to trap in human behavior at previous demand zones and supply levels, okay? These things can be really simple studying these videos, using a higher time frame as your filter, right? And not trading with fear. Okay, now listen, they got trapped doing that, but not because their idea was wrong, but because their entire framework was outdated. You understand? So NVIDIA isn't just a stock, it's a volatility generator. For beginners, NVIDIA moves the entire tech ecosystem. For intermediate traders, watch the implied volatility ramp, expected move, and the earnings premium. For advanced traders, we use gamma positioning, dealer hedging, liquidity shells, the QQQ correlation shocks. We also use the put call ratio, the HYG, which is a corporate bond ETF. These are market eternals. As you grow in your trading journey, you will learn different levels depending on your desire for trading to be consistent and your cognitive function. All right. I can't teach you instinct, but I can show you the things that I'm doing. So what this does is it gives you a chance to repeat things and study and get screen time. That's what this all is about. All right. Now I want to hop over to a quick segue. Thank you guys for watching. Just some little quick commentary that I like to do part of this halftime show, right? Episode 19 from Tom Lee and Dan Ives. All right. Just to see what their thoughts were. And then we're going to finish up with NVIDIA and the Fear and Greed Index and give you guys this conclusion for the video. All right. Thank you guys for watching again. Here is the small clip.
And here we have Tom Lee once again reaffirming that he does not believe the bull market is ending so soon.
We should expect from time to time profit taking because tech has been a leader for the last decade, and it is overbought. So I think it is going to be from time to time going to show extended weakness. But to me, the underlying story driving technology, which is the productivity miracle coming from AI, is still intact. Mary Erdos even talked about this earlier this week from JP Morgan that there's been a payoff in spending, and Lisa Su at AMD as well as noting that productivity lift is the reason AI spending is rising. That's actually still a tailwind for tech stocks.
Tom Lee continues on to argue that actually some of the things going on today aren't a warning sign. They're actually healthy. It's a healthy market signal.
Yeah, well, I think it is helpful to think about where we are in the cycle. I know the Fed is a little hesitant. The reason to cut in December, but the reason they're hesitant to cut is the economy is actually pretty healthy, and they just don't have a clear contour of how quickly inflation's cooling. That's a very good backdrop for corporate earnings, actually even corporate earnings to actually start to spread. So if the Fed gives us some guidance and visibility about, path forward, I do think business confidence picks up. That means that ISM starts to recover, and it is a broadening trade. So I would agree with the other speaker that, I like tech structurally because of AI spending, but there's still plenty of room for the small caps to work, which have really taken it in the gut as the Fed's sounded hawkish, and the banks. And so I'd be in sort of favor of a broadening trade as well. But I still like tech. And as you know, the AI trade comes under question every few months. There's always a big pullback, but for the last 5 years, investors have had to buy that pullback.
I agree with.
Absolutely. And this is my point exactly on why I talk about how some people who invest for the long term, they dollar cost average and they actually buy the pullback. All right. There's a lot of fear mongering going on in the news. Of course, in the banks, they're worried buying the dip on SPY. And some people like me, we use these gauges in order to know risk on and the risk off assessment, right? What is the MDY doing, right? The QQQ, SPY, and the IWM, like Tom Lee spoke about, the small caps. You want to see the market rotation, all right? You want to know where the strength is at, guys. Pay attention. Where is the money rotating, all right? If you never heard of the Fear and Greed Index, all right, this is extreme fear, and it measures all the way over to extreme greed. Now, if you've never seen this before, it's just fine. It's just fine, all right? Because this is one of the metrics that I like to use. It comes from a famous guy called Warren Buffett. You might know him, you might not. But he has this quote, right? And it says, "Be fearful when others are greedy, and to be greedy when others are fearful." All right? Now, what do you see in front of you? Extreme fear. And what do you have in the market? We had a pullback, right? We had a pullback, and the pullback got bought up. We waited for that catalyst for NVDA. Sometimes these earnings and these economic data points are catalysts for price to move. And the person who spots out opportunity when contracts are cheap, when prices are cheap, these are the people who will get rewarded. Remember that the people that are successful, one of the people that are successful in trading is those who let money transfer to them. So it's pretty much the people who are impatient, the money transfer to the people who are. Now, fear and greed is at 11. Logic just disappears right now, okay? Traders really stop analyzing and they start panicking. Extreme fear creates two things: retail capitulation and institutional accumulation. People hedge late, they sell lows, buy puts at the bottom, they buy protection at the worst time, and that's why the market slingshots, because the fear maximizes the delirium. You understand? So this is where the pros win and rookies lose. These are the eternals, all right? Under the surface, what I saw was very, very telltale, okay? We already talked about the put call ratio, all right? We already talked about that. The advance and decline line, all right, that was showing a little bit of strength today as the market was going up, all right, and it's already a little bit up now. The advance and decline line just tells you how many stocks are advancing versus declining, all right? Is there strength in the market? Is there not strength in the market? These are some of the things that you want to know. We also talked about HYG. HYG is the corporate bond ETF, right? The corporate bond ETF, and we've seen some rotation in that as well today, all right? So these things are giving us some opportunity to be able to tell whether or not to trade SPY, to day trade it, to swing it, or to scalp it. Today was a good trading day. You could have made money on both sides on the SPY, all right? It's all about perception, right? What are you going for when you're trading, all right? As long as you know what you're going for and you define your entry, your exit, and your risk, all right, that's what really matters, to stay in the game the next day. You don't want to give all your money back, guys. You don't want to do it, all right? This wasn't a breakdown. It was the market cooling like a spring, and we have actual gaps right now in the market on HYG. I'm expecting these gaps to fill and for SPY to continue to rally, all right? But I will be taking my profits on SPY between 675 and 680. We do not know what's going to happen when the market opens up tomorrow, where we could be, but I stress, do not chase, all right? Please do not chase, all right? Keep in mind, guys, as well, that we do have coming up later on before Christmas, quadruple witching, all right? So it's going to be about timing, because it's very perfect to think in ways where you're analyzing charts, right? And you're anticipating moves and you're setting it up right and waiting for that trigger. So we're heading into quadruple witching and OPEX Friday, which is Friday coming up this week, all right, on the 21st. And what does that mean? That means massive options expiration, dealer hedging, recalibration, index reshuffling. People are, letting go of certain stocks, buying certain stocks, and volatility mechanics coming up, all right? Gamma is like fuel for a plane. In this case, it's money and volume into a strike, into a stock, All right. And those walls are shifting. All right. And you have liquidity repositioning. So buy side liquidity, sell side liquidity. All right. You want to get the discounted prices and you don't want to trade with fear. This week isn't emotional. It was very, very mechanical, and it was very, very predictable. I've proven that to you guys. All right. So just to recap and to bring this home, SPY ripped because bearish position and maxed out. NVDA cooled while rotation lifted the index. All right, that's all it was. These healthy pullbacks, and the rookies got trapped from fear, and the internals strengthened quietly. Sentiment collapsed to panic levels, and OPEX plus quadruple witching. All right, these are going to create the perfect storms and headwinds towards the end of the year. We got the Thanksgiving momentum. We have the Christmas rally that everybody is talking about. All right, so listen, if you're still here, you're different. You're part of the group that actually studies the market, not reacts to it. All right, drop a comment. I watch the flow. I see the flow. If that's what you can see now, rewind the video if you need to. Watch it over and over again so you can soak in this game. All right, it's the same story but a different outcome as far as how far stock moves. All right, so you want to give yourself some grace. If the information is too much for you, give yourself some grace and go and study. I have beginner videos for those who need the beginner videos, one-on-one coaching. All right, and also a free discovery call. If you're curious, you want to just see what this thing is about, see how I can help you. All right, that's what I'm here for. Check out that link below. All right, and like I said before, hit that like. All right, and if you're ready to become disciplined and a strategic trader, subscribe to the channel. Join us every week for the halftime show. This is episode 19. Remember, we call this rotation. All right, we exposed the trap and we were prepared for the next move. So I'll see you in episode 20 of halftime show on Wednesday. Let's finish the week strong. All right, let's finish the week strong. And we see what we get. Okay, so appreciate you guys watching. Again, this is the unique trading group where strategy meets mindset and discipline turns into income. You guys stay blessed out there. See you in the next one. All right, peace.